All right. All right. Get this going. Lime size hail. Going on, Sleen? Come on, open up for me. TikTok. There we go. There we go. Why is this moving so slow today? There it is. Okay, stop. Oh my god, this is driving me crazy. Start with sub only. All right, there we go. What is going on, Celine? Ooh, look at this. More and more. I probably don't want to put my headphones on for all these alerts. Let's get this going. There we go. Come on, sub on over there on talk. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. What is going on? All right. Lime size hail here. They're all chasing that. This looks pretty chaseable down here as well. Golf ball size hail. Let's take a closer look. Let's take a closer look. Let's go into our reflectivity. Oh. We got more. Okay. Look at this. Here we go. That's some pretty good hail right there. Let's take a better look at this one. Pretty good looking storm right here. Almost feels like this is trying. This is the RFD reflanking downdraft. It almost looks. This is your inflow. It almost looks like this thing's trying to hook right here. That is interesting. Maybe not though. This Arkansas City storm has that same, ominous hook echo. This is just the storm developing. That's not a tornado, but it's always interesting when they get that type of build. These velocities are starting to look interesting on this one. This one might be our first one to get Tor warned right here. What's going on, guys? So, we'll have to see about that. Okay. Yeah, this one wants to go Tor. Look at that. Trying to develop a couplet right here. Trying to develop a couplet right there. This is going to be heading up to the north, just south of Arkansas City, up towards Cedarville and Seton, Kansas. And then we've got some ominous storms down here moving up towards the Oklahoma City metro region. Right now, closer off Norman, Chickasaw, Lindsay. They go to 7 through at least 2 dozen live broadcasts trying to find someone covering some storms. Well, here we go. Here we go. Are you in this area? Kalyana? Is that how you pronounce it? Jessica Jacobs, what's going on? I'm on streaming live to both platforms right now. So if you see me talking to imaginary people, I swear they're not imaginary. This storm, it's hard to tell which one of these, this northern one or this southern one, is going to put down a potential tornado first. You're in OKC? Okay. We may get, there's a look that we may get some more storms begin to pop up out here. We can take a look at the latest stage triple R and check and see how we're looking on this development. Abby, I appreciate the follow. So here we go. So this is our 23Z. So, you know, it does have this. It wants, as we get into 9 p.m., so 8 p.m., you know, it thinks that, you know, we might be getting close to the time where this initiation of these storms up here are going to pass. So let's hope nothing more pops up here. But these ones to the south, we could see some more cells spawn off here down to the south. We've got something wanting to form out here to the west. So here we go. Wow. All sorts of warnings down here heading up to the northeast towards the OKC area. These look like on the path they're on now, like they would pass south of the OKC, which is good. But the issue is, are we going to have some more, like I said, forming out there to the west? So we'll have to watch that. There's, you know, there's high. The issue is most of the models on Pivotal Weather showed us at this exact time as being marginal tornado, and we're not. I guess the cap is still holding. It does look like, for the most part, the cap is still holding, because we could have had 4 or 5 cells that had SIGTOR potential, but right now we're looking at just kind of 2 little sections here. So the cap is holding for a lot of areas, and that's a good thing. But I think over the next 30 minutes, we need to watch what happens in this region here, because we could get another spark of storms up out there. So let's just pay attention closely to that. But this is a good sign. This is a good sign so far. That's for sure. What's up, Charles? Megan, I appreciate the follow. Charlie, Anthony, thank you guys. Over on, yeah, I'll be taking it off the sub only mode over there, guys, in a little bit, or sub chat only mode in a little bit here, probably like 20 minutes. So I just started on sub chat only mode over there. In 26 years of living here, I've learned that whatever starts between after Vernon and what is it, Burke Burnett will strengthen and later threaten OKC. You know what an issue with this timing of these storms, because what is it, 7:16 over there? The sun setting cools the upper atmosphere, and we can see, yeah, your sun hasn't set yet, but it's setting. It cools the upper atmosphere, and that allows for more instability, because then you have a warmer parcel of air that's able to rise up into that cooler air above it. So that's why I'm wondering, as the sun sets over the next 30 minutes to an hour, as it gets darker and as that upper atmosphere cools, do we get a big break of cap up here, and does that spark up or initiate some storms out to the west? So we still need to watch it. Zach, I appreciate the sub. Thank you, Zach. NTX, I appreciate you. Michaela, what's going on? Bridge Creek, Oklahoma. This thing cannot find Bridge Creek, Oklahoma. There we go. Yeah, okay, so you guys are right down there southwest of OKC Metro. You know, these storms right now look like they're going to miss you to the southeast. But, again, we're watching potential initiation out here of something. Just because you see nothing on the radar doesn't mean nothing's going to pop up. These storms pop up very quickly sometimes. Yeah, I won't be on until well, it depends on the timing, because tomorrow I won't be on until a little bit later. So We'll have to see if I can. We can here. Let's go out into the 18Z for tomorrow. For the timing for Arkansas, 5, 6. I would say I'd probably be on covering for this. Yeah. Yep. I'm not doing this full time yet. Still got another job. Hoping to do this full time one day. So, I got to get back from work, and usually I'm back around that time, 5 o'clock. So, I'd probably hop on here and cover this as it's unfolding. Probably. Most likely. No problem, Zach. No problem, Zach. We're going to be watching this tonight. And hoping that this cap doesn't break up here. These chasers look like they're not sure about this. Their locations have fallen off a tiny bit. Let's take another look at this. It still looks like a couplet's wanting to form out here with this northern storm. Nothing crazy on the reflectivity, but a little bit. You've got a little bit of turbulence in there. Obviously, nothing really much on the CC except for some hail. It's got the right conditions to drop something. It's just not yet. And again, checking on these. You can see there's lots of shear. Look at all that shear in there. Again, the red represents water droplets moving away from the radar, and the green represents water droplets moving towards the radar. Water droplets, hail, whatever you want it to be. And that means there's winds moving in opposite directions. There's wind shear there. Rotation, typically where they collide. This to me looks like potential hail core. No dangerous tornado signature, although there's an interesting line of pretty decent velocities in there. So far, so good. We had baseball-sized hail just a little bit ago in that one up north, but that shrank a little bit. Zami, Lalo, Cambo, Julie, Stephanie, Rad. Sweet, I appreciate it. User 918. Will, Anna, thank you for the follows, guys. MK, what's going on? Yeah, we're going to be watching. We're going to be watching Oklahoma. What's up with all these storms? It's just typical spring stuff. I mean, this is a little bit different. I mean, this is now going to be like a 5-6 day. I mean, yeah, this could be like a week straight of severe weather, which is interesting, but we've seen this happen in spring. We're probably going to see a little bit more energy because the La Nina mixed with your 1 to 2 degrees Celsius above average Gulf waters is a little more aggressive than we typically see in spring. And that's what's contributing to this. The more moisture, remember, the more moisture you have pushing up here, moisture is more buoyant than dry air. So the more moisture you have, the more upward forcing you're going to have. You're going to have more lift available for this moisture here, or for water. To raise up into the atmosphere, condense, release that latent heat. The more moisture that's up here, the higher the dew points, the more fuel there is for thunderstorms. And La Ninas typically come with a jet stream pattern that is meridional, like this, up and down. And that allows you to get a lot of those southwesterly or even southerly winds. So when you have stronger winds pulling into, and that's why we're expecting Dixie Alley to be worse this year, but you will see when you have stronger, an Enzo supporting more moisture being pulled in, and that moisture is actually above average, close to record heat, that is a recipe for above average severe weather season, which is what we're expecting. Heather, Caleb, I appreciate you guys. Chicagoland tomorrow, wind and hail still the biggest threat. They downgraded your tornado threat a little bit, which is good. Still a 5% though. So there is still a tornado threat up there. They're saying we are 4 out of 5 severe threat in Jonesboro tomorrow. Jonesboro, sorry. You are, yes. Yes, you are. You're in a dangerous kind of area there. You know, most likely you'll be perfectly fine, but definitely stay weather alert tomorrow. Again, I think, and I don't want to be wrong, 4 or 5 p.m.-ish looks like it was when it could get the most severe for you or when things could go downhill. We'll see if that timing changes. Like 50 knots or something like that. Not sure what that means. 50 knots is around 70 mile per hour wind. So Well, let's see if I did that calculation correct. 1 second. $60-mile-per-hour winds. It's weird. The higher you get, the more it's so like 55 would be like 70. I can't do knots to mile per hour in my head that quickly, but knots is around like I said, 50 is around 60 mile per hour winds, and you get up to 55. Once you get to 60, it's like 15 over. It's like how you convert Fahrenheit to Celsius. It scales. All right, let's get this in here. Some people can convert that really easily. This event's supposed to happen all week, basically. Well, here's our day 1 threat. Julie, what's going on? Yeah, I think you guys might. Here's our day 1 threat. Here's our day 2 threat. Buffalo's in that marginal. Not too bad. Here's our day 3 threat. Okay, this will probably get upgraded, by the way. Here is our day 4 threat. All right. And I believe we now have a day 5 threat as well. There's our day 5 threat. Now, the farther out you get, they're not going to put all the other colors with it because they need more data. They want to assess it a little bit more. But, yes, it's nonstop. I don't think we have a day 6 yet, but I think we might get a day 6, believe it or not. I think we might get a day 6 as well. Every day. And we'll see what happens. A big issue that we have is... can I show you this on here? The big issue that we have, yes. What we're really worried about is especially this region here, guys. This region, we're talking potentially historic flooding. Someone in this region could see 10 plus inches of rain in a span of 72 to 96 hours. Maybe even, they think northeastern Arkansas, Jonesboro area could receive 14, 15 inches. I think that's a little bit crazy. But again, especially here, we're watching crazy totals of rainfall. That's a lot different than what we had 2 days ago where rainfall wasn't as big a factor. Flash flooding is going to be an issue. Let me show you guys really quickly our satellite. I'm still watching these storms in Oklahoma. Don't worry. We're good right now. I want to show you what's going on. This is hard to tell here. But what is happening is we have a high pressure. Let me zoom out. We have a high pressure system down here that's developing. Okay. So this is kind of acting like a shield for the south. Okay. It's going to be very hard. This moisture is going to move out and we're going to be staying somewhat dry down here in the south. And then we have multiple. You've got a low right here. You've got another low right here. And then you've got another low right here. Oh, you guys can't see that. I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. Okay. High pressure like this. Okay. You can actually see the spin. 1 second. Let me actually get this right. Let me get this right. You got a low here. You got a center low here. This is basically what we're looking at right now. So you've got winds funneling like this, winds funneling like this, winds funneling like this. Okay. And what you're doing is you're pushing all of these storms through this high pressure and they're getting squeezed through here. And this looks to be happening for like 4 or 5, 6 days. So everything looks to be funneled from starting tomorrow all the way through Sunday, potentially. Everything is going to be getting funneled through this corridor here because we have that high pressure keeping things to the north. And we've got these low pressures keeping things. The worst of the weather is going to be to the south. So you're just going to see nonstop rain and potential severe weather through this corridor for like 5 days straight. That's why historic flooding has been being talked about potentially through this region. And then, you know, the more storms you have, the more moisture buildup you have, the more heat release you have in the atmosphere, the greater threat you have for severe weather. What will kind of happen, though, is areas that receive a lot of rainfall, you'll start to notice it'll be a more stable atmosphere because there'll be, you know, rain-cooled air. So, you know, the first few days we'll probably see the worst severe weather, and then as it moves on, we'll probably see a little bit less severe. But it's going to be interesting to watch this corridor over the next little while. Yeah, Cameron, I'm on. Let's see. I'm in northern Illinois, 45 minutes west of Chicago, and they're upping the risk for us, and I'm getting worried. Yeah, you guys are in a general, or you guys are in a marginal with this. But if we go to our day 2, right now, you guys, Chicago isn't in enhanced. We can go by. Now look at your tornado risk though. You got downgraded into a 5% for the tornado risk, which is good, not great. It's better. You were originally potentially in a SIGTOR zone there, so that's a little bit better than a SIGTOR zone. Your wind is your most significant factor. Probably you're in a 30% hatched wind zone, so that means you could get significant destructive winds. And then I believe in your hail. Let's see. I believe in your hail, you're in that 15%. Yeah, you're in that, but you're in that hatched, which means they're talking about 2, 3, 4 gorilla hail. 2, 3, 4-inch hail possible up all the way up there to the north. Doesn't mean it's guaranteed, but it's possible. So hail and wind look to be your biggest threat, but we can't rule out a tornado up there. Can't rule it out, but hail and wind is probably right now going to be the biggest issue. It's a very large, severe zone for tomorrow, though. What's going on, Milan? Very large. God, I can't believe neither of these have put down a... Here we go. Can't believe neither of these have put down a tornado yet. Won't that be worse since the ground is going to be really saturated after the first day? Well, it depends how quickly the next line of severe weather comes, because if you're seeing another band move through right after, the atmosphere is going to be... the temperature is going to be equalized. You're going to have like equilibrium between the upper and lower levels of the atmosphere, and you're not going to have instability. For instability, you want a lot of warm air near the surface with cooler air above. And when it rains a lot, the surface level cools down and needs time to heat up again for severe weather. Just got done watching The Senator. I don't think I've ever heard of that. Appreciate you, Julie. What's going on, Sandy? Michael, Nicole. Let's see here. Look at the HRRR for Northern Illinois for significant tornado parameter. We can look at it. I'll look at that in a second. I keep hoping nothing will happen in my area. There's still a chance. I'm in DeKalb area. A local chaser said he's worried. Same. It's a big risk zone. Barometer is low right now, 29.37, and will go even lower. Yeah, probably will. We had SIGTORs maxed out in Oklahoma. The soundings as I was pulling earlier out of Oklahoma were absolutely insane, and that's why we don't want the cap to just completely shatter, because I was seeing the craziest numbers, like 14.0 fixed layer SIGTOR param. Like it looked insane. 52.7 supercell composite, 580 storm relative helicity, 59 surface level, 59 knot surface level shear. Insanity. So we don't want the cap to break here. Yeah, I'm going to pull up those SIGTOR params for tomorrow in a second. Let's see here. Baton Rouge temp, 78 degrees, 85% humidity, no rain, partly cloudy, wind out of the south. Yeah, that's like that's like a recipe for some bad weather. There's rotation. There's plenty of shear in these storms, and I'll show you that again. On TikTok, he was on. Oh yeah. 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 What was he like reading Was he reading the Harry Potter books or something? I don't know how you talk for 25 hours straight. I guess you just bring a lot of material. And now he's probably going to sleep for 24 hours straight. HRRR shows tornadoes happening in OKC. NAMCONUS shows severe weather. Yeah, but the HRRR showed storms initiating earlier through this region, and they haven't yet. So there's a little bit of hope there. All right, I'm going to go switch over to pivotal weather really quick so we can look at some of these SIGTORs, updated SIGTORs. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this really quickly. Oh, you know what I want to do? There we go. That's what I'll do. 1 second, guys. Bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. Okay. Alrighty. So let me just expand this a little bit here. That's fine. That's what we're going to have to use. What the? Why is this doing this? Ugh, this is so frustrating. I'm OCD about things being in the right place. Okay, so SIGTOR params for tomorrow. By the way, here's our latest HRRR. Notice we don't get any initiation until tomorrow morning through OKC, but then we do. This is the latest. We were watching potential through here, not showing it anymore. We can look at our MPAS as well. MPAS still shows it, but that's because this is a 12Z. But the latest HRRR is showing things, I believe, up north into Kansas. Plan, I appreciate it. Yeah, we are seeing some stuff up there into Kansas. Let me double check what's going on radar. Okay, not much. So we got to watch that. Now, moving into SIGTOR params. I mean, we're still watching just the most ridiculous. This is maxed out here. We've got, did I see a 10.0? Hold up, guys. 1 second. Yeah, look at that. Look at the cap on it. So, insane amount of cape, insane amount of surface level cape. 5,200 joules per kilogram surface cape, or forecasted cape. Almost 4,000 joules per kilogram surface cape. 500 SRH, 45. Not surface shear, effective layers, significant torn param at 11.0, and a great looking photograph. But it's capped. There's inhibition there. So looks like the cap wants to break tomorrow now. Let's push off into tomorrow really quickly to see what's going on up in the Chicago area. Here we go. Let's go down to the 18Z. Well, that's interesting. Huh. Really good. No surface level cape, though, with this sounding. Everything looks good, but there's no surface level cape. This is west of Chicago. You're not going to get a tornado with zero surface cape at this time. So, even though there's a SIGTOR param there, let's see what's going on out here. Now, this one right here, the photograph looks a little bit wimpy, but you've got 2,400 joules per kilogram surface cape, 400 SRH, and 43 knot shear at the surface with an uncapped, really good looking cape here. So with really good velocity shear as well. The directional shear is okay. So this is a pretty decent sounding. And this is going right through Metro Chicago at around 3 p.m. Central. 4 p.m. Central tomorrow. That's interesting. Let's go to this time 28 on the actual reflectivity. Wow, that's a change. They might, depending on this is guys, this is really conditional though. Look at all this moisture that wants to move through Chicago. Look at all this moisture that wants to move through Chicago before that severe threat moves in. So there's a chance that your instability isn't there, which is a good thing. I don't think this sounding's accounting for that big blob of moisture that moves through before. Let's look at the reflectivity on that as well. Look at this. You get a lot of rainfall. So let's look at our quantitative precipitation before the severe weather. And you could be seeing an inch of rain before your severe weather threat. I don't know. That's conditional. I know that Sigtor Pram is off the chart there, but it's not guaranteed. How much CAPE is needed to form a mesocyclone? You can form a mesocyclone with 1,000 joules per kilogram CAPE or above. But typically for a really strong one, you're going to want over 2,000 joules per kilogram at least. If there's other conditions that can really help, because, you know, if you have really high dew points, you're typically going to have higher CAPE. But there's other, you know, you can have some really decent shear and high dew points that can help with the mesocyclone without having super high CAPE values. Tonight's kind of an all or nothing event. It's an all or nothing event, I think, for Oklahoma, not necessarily for Kansas. I think Kansas is Kansas is gonna see some things. Let me get back to the radar and check on what's going on. 1 second. Let's get back here. Okay, and let's move back into there. Perfect. So we are, let me watch this. We'll see what happens with these. We're getting some little pop-ups out here. Does that turn into anything is the question. Let's go to a closer radar. Let's go to a closer radar here. I'm going to probably actually swap out from sub-chat only mode over on TikTok, and I'm going to switch it over here in a second. Let's see. Look at northeastern Arkansas for tomorrow. Yeah, well, I can look at it on here. I mean, I've seen it. It's pretty significant looking. Sigtor parameter. Let's go back to our 18Z. Yeah, I mean, you got some big ones there. You've got 6.2, 7.0 Sigtor param. Looking pretty impressive through central Indiana, down through Kentucky, western Tennessee as well. All right. Yeah, let me quickly jump in and see if there's anything on these single site radars. We're getting something that wants to pick up out here, because I don't think we are right now. Quarter size hail, $half size hail. Nothing much is happening right now, guys. It's not a bad thing. No problem, Cameron. Okay, over on TikTok, I'm going to switch this over to... Can I pause it? And then 1 second. There we go. I'm getting it back open. Getting it back open. There we go. Okay. I wonder what's going on with Reed right now. Let's go take a look.
Overlap. There's a lot. Imagine a Venn diagram for where tornadoes could happen, but it involves like CAPE, it involves moisture, it involves it looks like the Olympics right now, right? Yeah. So, but there's a lot more, and also keep in mind that this whole thing is
trying to see what they're talking about. All right. What's going on, guys? How do you think Springfield, Missouri will be tomorrow? It's a good question. Right now, let me go to Springfield. I think because of the timing of these storms, Springfield's probably might be spared, because these storms struggle between like 1 and 7 a.m. They just do. I think because of the timing of these storms, Springfield might not be in a too bad a situation. You can see as we push into our day 2 threat, you're over there in that slight risk, but things are going to be firing off tonight to your west, and then things are going to mainly be firing off tomorrow to your east. Not impossible for you to get some severe weather, but not looking too bad for you guys. You're in the outer zone of the 10% of the 5% tornado risk tomorrow, almost in the 2% as well, which is good. What do we got? Oh, look at these. Look at these spinning up here in Nebraska. 7-mile-per-hour wind gusts moving right towards Fullerton Clark's Central City. God, these guys are still chasing this thing. Still chasing. Is he coming south? I wonder. He is. He's coming south. Oh, it's not letting me pull it up. Is it going to be bad for Hopkinsville, Kentucky tomorrow? Kentucky's going to be a little bit rough tomorrow, yeah. Yeah, Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky, it's probably going to be a little bit more rough than it was a couple days ago. It's you guys are in a moderate there. Or you're right on the edge of the moderate. I think you're in the moderate, though. 4 out of 5 risks tomorrow. Hatched. So, let's go over that tornado threat for tomorrow. Yeah, you're in a moderate hatched in Hopkinsville. So that's pretty significantly severe. This area is a big concern tomorrow. The whole yellow area is, if we're being honest. But especially that 15% hatch there. 10% hatch is a big issue as well. Thoughts on the Chicago area for tomorrow? I know, and we were talking about this earlier, I know there's crazy SIGTOR parameters up here, but there's a lot of rainfall, not just going over tomorrow before it, but going over soon. There's going to be, the more rain you get out ahead of this severe weather that's projected, the more stability there's going to be. So I think your SIGTOR param isn't estimating that correctly. So severe weather, strong winds and hail are almost a guarantee in and around Chicago Metro. A significant tornado is not a guarantee, and you guys might not have the instability for that, but I would definitely stay weather alert tomorrow because it's a possibility. Kalyana back. What what they were talking about over there, let me see. 1 second. Sun still hasn't set out there, huh? What they were talking about, what Reed was talking about was they still see potential here tonight for storms. And we're starting to see some little things, out here, but they still see potential out there for storms. So that's interesting. Originally we were looking at 9 p.m. as kind of potentially peak hour of this event. And that's coming up here. So you would need to see some things spark up here pretty soon, or else it's going to look quite safe, which is good. Is this a new cell that we have right here? Is this a new storm we have right here developing? It's kind of been there for a little bit. Let me go back 50 frames. And okay, so it's broken off. That's all it was. Interesting. Okay. Just trying to see what's going on here. Can you go over, Casey, what we should expect tonight? Yeah, I mean, you guys are in that 5% risk. Let's go and take a look at the latest. Let's take a look at the latest HRRR. Let's go down into composite reflectivity. There we go. And so let's look at what our HRRRs. HRRR wants to bring a lot of these storms to your south. There's a few. This is an interesting linear setup coming through here at around, this would be 6 a.m. Eastern. So this would be around 5 a.m., give or take an hour. These storms don't move in perfect line. You know, you can get a QLCS tornado out of this. This is going to be probably strong winds, some decent size hail, and potentially a QLCS setup. 5 in the morning-ish for around the Kansas City area. That wouldn't be as significant as a tornado threat or a strong, you know, we could get, if we're going to get a significant tornado, a SIGTOR EF2 plus, it's probably going to come from this discrete setup out ahead of it. You know, we'll be watching that until potentially around 12 to 1 in the morning Central Time. And after that blows over, you could have this kind of QLCS moving through. Very, very strong winds, potential for large hail, and potentially EF0, EF1 around 4, 5, 6 in the morning. So this is all going to be throughout the night for Kansas City. That wants to stick around on the latest HRRR all the way until about 8 in the morning. Most people as they're waking up, severe weather is going to be over. It looks like 7, 8 in the morning Central Time, but there's a lot of different, some pretty significant weather moving through all night. Yep, radar Omega. This chaser's like, I'm heading down to the south. He's abandoned that one. I love that. He was like, nope. He abandoned it. I saw these guys abandoning this one up here to the north. They're all kind of like, it's not doing anything. Both these guys here. He was chasing it. He was sort of chasing it. He was far behind. They're going south. They're seeing something down there. I've been hearing there's still a little potential through here, so we'll watch it. What time for Kentucky tomorrow? If I remember correctly, it's afternoon hours. Last time I looked with our latest runs, but let me. Actually, I think it's more like 5, 6. Let's get into it here. Let's get into it here. Yeah. I'll go back a little bit into the 18Z so we can see out a little bit further. This thing wants to start moving over the Kentucky border at around 6 p.m. Central. Moving into Kentucky. Now, getting over out towards Owensboro, closer to 8 p.m. Eastern, or 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. And then over towards Central Texas. Now, Louisville. Timing looks to be, I think Louisville's in the Eastern time zone, right? Looks to be around 11 p.m. Eastern. And then Lexington out towards Bowling Green, closer to 12 to 2 a.m. Eastern, so 11 to 1 a.m. Central for Kentucky. Nashville, things get a little sketchy out at around about 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central, or 4 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Central. You know, Central Indiana and South, we're seeing a significant SIGTOR potential down here. But we're seeing a significant hail and wind threat up here to the north, and you're still in a 5% tornado risk up here as well. So all of Indiana has something to watch out for tomorrow. You're going to want to be weather alert, that's for sure. Timing for you guys too is for tomorrow's event. Some severe thunderstorms moving in the morning. Those aren't supposed to be too severe. This is our concern here. Probably beginning around 6. 7 p.m., 8, 9, 10, 11, moving through the state. So tomorrow evening into tomorrow night for Indiana. I can mentally only do 1 tornado a week. Well, I hope you only get 1 tornado a lifetime. Look at this. Look at this cap holding out here, guys. Incredible. Incredible. Alexis, what's going on? Alexis, I appreciate you. Blonde, what's going on? All right, what do we got? It's probably up in Nebraska, isn't it? No? Hello? Why don't I see this thing anywhere? Oh. I don't know where that one just went up. I think... Nothing is flashing. Okay, we got 5 alerts. Am I going crazy? Why isn't it showing this on my screen? I think this one was expanded. Yeah, this one was expanded, and then this one was expanded. That's all it was. Both of those were expanded. Nothing too. I mean, we've got decent hail in one area. That's about it right now. So let's hope things remain the same. And Radar Omega is frozen. Let's reopen it. Radar Omega's been not doing so great lately. I think there's just been a lot of people lately hopping on it, and like I said, I've said it before. I don't think their servers can support it. I'm still seeing some storms that want to form out here on the MRMS. We're not seeing them on the single site radar, though, which is obviously a better way to see them. I'll get back to your questions, guys. Give me a second. I'm just trying to see. Really interested if we're going to get these storms formed out to the west, because that would be a big game changer tonight. Kentucky tomorrow. Beginning at around 6, 7 p.m., things are going to go downhill in western Kentucky. And then through the night as it moves off east. Really, we're talking Louisville and west here. You're in a 30% SIG tour, which is higher than you were on Sunday. It's more significant than you were on Sunday. What's going on around 6, 7? That's when you're going to have your line of storms right out here. That's when you're going to have your line of storms right out here. We're talking through Arkansas, portions of eastern Missouri, southern Illinois, up through Indiana, western Kentucky, western Tennessee, potentially. That's where we're going to see that line of storms tomorrow. Jessica, what's going on? Mikey, what's up? Board, I appreciate you. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Saint. Tornado chance for Lawrence, Kansas. Are you guys out here to the east? Well, here's your tornado chance. 10%. No, you're in a 10% SIG, meaning a 10% risk zone, and if you do get a tornado, there's a chance that it's a significant tornado, meaning EF2 plus. Here's the good news. Right now, we're underperforming. The cap's holding a lot better than we thought. This is not looking as bad as we thought. Things can change rapidly, though, with this, with the parameters, with the atmospheric ingredients we have. Things could change rapidly. Like literally over 20 minutes, we could see a bunch of cells pop up. That's why we're staring at the screen. Purdue, I appreciate you. Let me go back here live. There we go. I hit 3K. I hit 3K on YouTube today. Appreciate anyone who subbed over there. Do you think Chicago will be crazy in the early morning tomorrow? What is that Chicago timing? It is earlier in the morning. Earlier in the day. I thought it was around 11 a.m., 12. Let me go over that timing again for you guys. I can't keep track of the timing for every single city, so sometimes I do have to go back and look. Let me go back to our 18Z. So, you know, this is not your severe. This is bad thunderstorms. Maybe some wind, maybe some hail. But this is when things start to look a little more dangerous. Potentially as early as 10 a.m., 9 a.m. Central. And then this is the band that they think could drop a SIGTOR that we're a little bit worried about. And this is actually out at 5 p.m. Central. And doesn't look like it wants to move to the Chicago Metro until 7 p.m. Central. So, you know, you might not even see the worst, the highest risk until evening tomorrow. Although you'll have thunderstorms moving over earlier in the day. These aren't necessarily going to be thunderstorms, but heavy rain at least. Do you think Chicago will get it to a 10% now because of the updates? I don't think so. No. I don't think so. Notice what's happening up here in this 10% and where this yellow hatched is. You have a blanket of rain saturating the air up here. It's not happening down here. This blanket of rain is why this 10% is cut off. This is going to create a lot of potential rain, cool air, kind of temperature equilibrium in the atmosphere up here that won't provide as much instability for tornadoes as we will see down here in a pocket that's much drier. So unless this precipitation magically disappears up here to the north, I don't see you guys going into the 10%. Now, if you don't get enough rainfall out ahead of this thing, though, this could be bad. This is when you have crazy Sigtor params. But it looks like you will. But, again, this stuff is variable and changes constantly. So there's a lot of things to consider. And you don't want to guarantee anything to anyone because that the weather will go and be like, nope, and make you look stupid. You want to understand all of the possible outcomes. Dumpster and board, I appreciate you. Yeah. When is picked up in OKC? Yeah, we're still okay here. I know this is the MRMS, but again, I've been saying watch out here. If we start to see something forming here, that's when we're gonna get serious because that means we're having cap breaking out to the west. Look at you guys up here, golf ball size hail, moving through Central City out towards Silver Creek, up towards Columbus, Nebraska. Let me get back into a single site radar here and see if we're seeing any of that on the single site radar. Still not seeing any of that. Any of that thunderstorm activity out to the west, which is good. A little bit. Let's see here. We'll see what wants to happen here. I've got my eye on something popping up out here to the west. I'm telling you. I am telling you. What? The Sigtor is weird, showing in the wee hours of the morning. Honestly, I'm watching. Hopping on a live or not, as long as he's not on, I'm feeling less anxious. Yeah. Yeah, there is some weird Sigtor in the morning. We can see what's happening out here as we get to the morning hours too. This is our latest H. Oh, our 00ZH triple R is coming out right now. That's really good. See that right there? At around 4 a.m. So, and that could be bad out towards Springdale and Fayetteville, Arkansas as well. That's when we get that band forming. As well for Dallas-Fort Worth. Look at that timing at around 6 Central. Strong storms. Hail, strong winds, tornadoes possible down there at that timing as well. Very early in the morning. Yeah, Kansas City, we talked about this. I'll go over that again. Not very excited now for this week. You know, I'm trying to name all these boundaries. There's Texarkana. Don't some people call this what's the triple point here called, guys? It's a weird name. Does anyone know what the triple point here is called? I'll talk on. Yeah, Michigan has a decent severe wind and hail threat tomorrow. No, not Texarkana. Arklatex. Thank you, Kobe. I don't know why I couldn't remember it. Yeah, and I think we should name this up here. Kanzoke, Missouri? No. Something. That needs a name too. Yeah, so Kansas City. We'll go over that again. We're getting our 00Z in is good, okay? Let's get some weather balloon data, for God's sakes. I don't want this satellite data. But we're going to have to go off our 23Z right now. A lot of these storms want to pass to the south of Kansas City. Could get some significant thunderstorms moving in at around 2 p.m., 1 to 2 p.m. Central, or 12 to 1 a.m. Central. And then this is kind of might be the more worrisome pattern here when we get this linear setup at around 5 a.m. Let's see here. At around 6 a.m. Eastern, so 5 a.m. Central. This could come with some very significant winds, hail, and a potential QLCS setup with some tornadoes. So wee hours of the morning for Kansas City, we're gonna have to watch that. This is when we get our setup down here, all the way from Dallas-Fort Worth up through Oklahoma City, just out to the east of Wichita, through Kansas, and then moving up here out towards southeastern Iowa as well. Interesting, guys. Interesting. Do you know that that's interesting? Hold up. Very interesting. It looks like something could. It looks like some thunderstorms are trying to spawn out there, which wouldn't be good for Oklahoma City, just based on the direction that they're moving. But we don't know that this is going to turn into anything, but something to watch for sure. Can all the severe weather change and be balanced out due to all the rainfall? Yes, rainfall can help bring back temperature equilibrium to the atmosphere, which eliminates instability. So it helps. Someone said the switches. Wait, the switches to storm in Cleveland, Ohio for Thursday now. Well, Cleveland, we've got a few. We can look at our severe setup over the next couple days. Here's our day 2. Cleveland's out there in that slight. Here's our day 3. Guys, we have severe weather for a lot of days. There's our day 3. This is our day 4. This is our day 5. And I think we might get a day 6. We've got a lot of severe weather ahead of us. Again, something that's not being talked about enough, in my opinion, is the estimated 10 to 15 inches of rainfall in some of these areas here. Historic flooding is possible here. We've got a high pressure to the south, funneling these storms up north of it, and we're going to have a train of low pressures to the north, funneling rainfall through this region for multiple days. Very concerning. Very concerning. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I'm back. That band is straight through my city. We're talking about the one up there in Kansas. I don't like 4 a.m. Oklahoma City. Yeah. What is St. Louis looking like tornado-wise tomorrow? We can go take a look at what's updated on that. Might pull out to Pivotal Weather real quick. So let's take a quick look. Our new HRRR is coming out. Oops, let's go here. No, that's not where I want it. I gotta get my scenes all fixed again. Hey. 1 sec, guys. How much is out of our 00Z? Not much. Well, all right. Let's do severe weather, reflectivity. I have to go down to the 18Z. Missouri's not looking too bad with with the latest updates to the HRRR. It's really looking like around 1 in the afternoon Central Time, you could get some spin ups down there in Missouri, or in St. Louis. Let me go back to Radar Omega. So, and let me make sure that's up correctly. Okay. But again, there's going to be. Let me pull back up our risk zone for tomorrow. Here's our tornado risk zone for tomorrow. St. Louis is right on the edge of this 10% hatched. And that's because of storms look to initiate basically on the border of St. Louis. So there's a serious chance you don't see anything in St. Louis. You get some bad thunderstorms, but you don't see any tornadoes out here, or at least any decent spin ups out here. Based on, storms are going to disappear here really early in the morning, and then they're going to reappear out here. They're going to reignite out here. As this low-level jet activates and really soaks, pushes in all this moisture down there from the Gulf. So St. Louis is going to be a close call. It's going to be a close call. That's your tornado threat for tomorrow. They do have you in a moderate or 30% hatched for wind. But again, you're right on the edge of that because where the storms are forming, but you would be at a 10% hatch for wind as well, which is significant. So can't rule that out. As well as that gorilla hail, 4-inch plus hail as well for St. Louis. Again, you're on the boundary of all these because of when these storms want to initiate. This area is a big question mark in here in Missouri. Hopefully that, they don't get aggressive out to your west too early on. Sassy, what's going on? Yali, what's going on? JDJ. Dumpster, I appreciate you. Dallas, Fort Worth. Yep, 7 in the morning Central Time. We were just talking about that. Things look to be going downhill for you guys. This is actually the 00Z. And notice, this would be 6 a.m. Central. Strong hail, high winds, not impossible for a spin up down there. Very early in the morning. This is the 00ZHRRR. So let's see what this is doing now. Not showing much initiation back in near Oklahoma City. Again, until 4 a.m. Central. Maybe 3:30 Central. We don't like those nocturnal storms. So it's a little bit of an issue. And then back 6 a.m. Central Time, Kansas City. This wants to move through you. Is anything happening in Westlake, Ohio? Because it shows me in a flood watch. Are you guys in Southern Ohio? Because that's where I would think you'd be. Has you in a flood watch all the way up there? Interesting. We expect the most rainfall over the next 72 to 96 hours to be through this region here. Not necessarily up there, but you are going to get a good amount of rainfall from this low pressure system that's going to move through up here to the north as well. From this one pushing through. These are going to see it kind of, there's going to be a lagging. These are going to see it more, I would say late Wednesday through Saturday. So I could see why you guys would be in a watch up there. But I'll tell you right now, we're more concerned with flooding through here, though. Not that you couldn't get some flash flooding up here to the north. Because you could. I can look at SigTor in Southwest Indiana. SigTor... Listen, we had maxed out SigTor right here tonight. And you guys see that nothing's happening? Just because you have a bunch of SigTor doesn't mean you're this is gonna sound weird. Just because you have a high SigTor parameter doesn't mean you have good ingredients for a tornado. And I know that sounds stupid, but the SigTor parameter doesn't read certain things. It doesn't read very well if there's going to be moisture out ahead of the storm and what that can do to your tornado chances. it doesn't read very well surface cape values, I've noticed. And so you can have high SIGTOR and then like no surface cape values. And so you're like, okay, cool. You got a 6.0 SIGTOR and there's 0 surface cape. There's not going to be anything. So sometimes blindly looking at SIGTOR isn't really smart, but you can look at SIGTOR and then take a sounding and see if it's there. So I'll take a look at it. Gavin, I appreciate that. Gavin, thanks for the super chat. I appreciate that, man. Seriously, thank you. Any flooding concerns for Pittsburgh? Maybe slight, not really. I would say that's not. We're mainly watching this area, starting from eastern, really southwestern Arkansas up through. I would say northeastern. I would say Texarkana all the way up through to Columbus, Ohio, type region, like this region here. I mean, I can show you on here, guys. Check this out. Actually, will our Euro show me total quantitative precipitation? It doesn't want to show me anything here. Okay, check this out. Come on. 1 second, guys. Okay, the Euro is not working on here. That's fantastic. Let's do this. This will work for us. Look at this. This is like 5 days. You guys see this? It's getting pretty far north up there on the GFS. That is insane rainfall. Look at some of these numbers. 14 inches. Almost 15 inches. Southeastern Missouri. These numbers are astronomical. And we're only talking, what are we at right here? We're talking over the next 150 hours, but let me pull this back. So we're talking over about the next 100 hours. But this isn't going to start for the significant rainfall for the first 36. So this is going to be in 72 hours. This is going to be a 72-hour event. Getting almost 15 inches of rain. That is going to be so dangerous. And could end up being the story of the storm. I've been saying for a week that people haven't been talking about that enough. Guys, getting 5 inches of rain in 72 hours can cause flash flooding. Imagine getting 15. Can cause severe flash flooding getting 5. I see 10 people watching and only 6 thumbs up. I appreciate that. Galiana. Check on central Minnesota for snow. Yeah, we can see what's going on up there. You know, well, here, let me see what our latest HRRR is thinking about that. Although it's only going to give us our 10-1 on the 00Z. We'll go back to the 18. So, still keeping the good snow to the north of Minneapolis. Wants to put maybe 2 or 3 inches down into Minneapolis. That's going to be a lot of mixing, though. But you can see up here, 6 inches to a foot up here, north central Minnesota. Really central Minnesota. Wants to drop a lot of snowfall up here as well. Northeastern Minnesota. So, but the bulk of this looks to stay north of the city. What's the biggest official recorded hail? You know, that's a good question. I don't know. I know we've seen like 5+ inch hail before. I think we've seen 6+ inch hail before, actually. You know, they used to just go up to grapefruit size, but now they're saying CD size. Michigan, I got you. 1 second. Let me largest hail recorded. Ready, guys? There's no way. Okay, well this isn't crazy. The largest ever hail recorded was in 2010 in South Dakota. and it was 8 inches thick, and it weighed 2 pounds. If that hits you in the head when you're outside, I feel like you're not surviving. It was about 8 inches. So it was like this. Falling from the sky. Yeah, that's insane, right? It was like the size of someone's head. You'd get a concussion if a 2-pound block of ice fell 20,000 feet onto your head, I would say. Okay, so yes, up there in Michigan tomorrow. And our 00Z, our 00ZH Triple R is loading. So we're still doing okay with thunderstorms down here, although I'm watching this potential development out there in southwestern, just the south of Clinton, Oklahoma. I really want our 00Z to load up in the H Triple R because this is going to be fresh, good new data. We want to get off of that. Let's go back into composite reflectivity here. This right here is not going to be your severe threat. This is going to be a lot of rainfall, which could actually help lower your severe threat. Your more significant wind and tornado threat is going to come as this thing moves through. The timing for this is at around 4 p.m. Central out here in Chicago, and then it's going to be later, obviously, at night as it gets out there towards Detroit. We can look at the 18Z to assess that. So this is going to be your more severe potential out here. Potentially around 9 p.m. Eastern in Detroit. Large hail, 80+ mile per hour wind gusts. So we're talking potentially 2 to 4 inch hail possible, 80+ mile per hour wind gusts, and we can't rule out a tornado either. So 9 p.m., I would say as the sun goes down in Detroit, have a way to get weather alerts. This has the potential to be more significant than our Sunday event. And right now it looks like it will be for Detroit. Kayana, that was extremely kind of you. $10 in the super chat. Oh my gosh. I really appreciate that. Seriously, that means a lot. Thank you so much. Can I get my volume a bit higher? Yeah, let me see. Let me put this up a little bit. Check. Let's see here. Let me pull it up on here. I had it turned down. Yeah, there we go. That should probably be a little better. Let me know if it is. I really appreciate that. Seriously, thank you so much. Is Wichita, Kansas a dud? Well, no, we don't know that. It's too early to tell yet. Too early to tell. Weird things happen as the sun sets, and the sun's setting out there, if I'm not mistaken. Speaking of Kansas, we just got another severe thunderstorm warning up here, right out to the west of Salina. And let's go in here and see what's going on. I'm sure there's a little bit of shear up here to the north. Look at that. Actually, yeah, a little bit of rotation potentially in there as well. Yeah, looks like there's some hail, actually. That looks like a little bit of hail to me as well. Got a dumb, not weather-related question for me? Go for it. I'll take the questions. We're a little bit slow right now, which is good. But, yeah, I got time. What's it looking like in Youngstown, Ohio tomorrow? Again, this is going to be potentially more severe. Okay, on design tour. My volume was here earlier today, closed and reopened, and it was happier. Oh, yeah, because I was gonna say it looks like the volume on my end there looks pretty high, but I did turn it up a little bit. Yeah, so Youngstown, Ohio. I usually do a lot of this in pivotal weather when it comes to models, but since we have a live severe weather threat going on, I'm really staying in radar Omega. Typically, I'm on pivotal weather if we're talking about modeling and not live radar. Oops, let me go back here. One second, guys. You guys are pretty far off to the east, which is good. You're not in a terrible flood situation, hail, anything really. You're right out there in that marginal. So your thunderstorms are likely for you guys probably into the early hours of Thursday. Not even Wednesday, but into the early hours of Thursday. I'm talking like before 6 a.m. They don't look to be too severe. You can't rule it out, though. You can't rule out, I'd say, an EF0, EF1 out here and maybe some small hail and some decent 60, 70 mile per hour gust in that region. But yeah, the worst, this thing's gonna be, again, I say this a lot, but like that 1 to 7 a.m. time frame, a lot of times storms fall apart a little bit. So right now, the timing seems to be on your side right out there. Because again, the next day this is gonna transition back, and you can see as we go to day 3, we're gonna have these storms, some storms moving off to the south, and they're gonna re-intensify. So you're in a pretty good spot out there in northeastern Ohio. Wait. What are all these dots on the screen? Does that represent streamers? But all these dots on the screen right now, I'm on single site radar, so these are just single site radars. If I go to MRMS mode, it like puts all the radars together and tries to give me a representation, but it's not high definition. See, but if I go to single site radar and I click on a local radar, it'll be high definition of what the storms actually look like. See how you get a much more high definition outline of them. And you can also look at the velocities. So like if I go in here, I can see this storm very well, all things considered. And I can look at velocities like wind shear and correlation coefficient, which it actually looks like there's hail in here. But I can't see that on MRMS, but it gives me a more broad view of what's going on MRMS. Wichita, we have a storm actually it's coming right through you. Not a significant looking thunderstorm, but that does tell me we could see some more pop-ups down here. It's up. My volume's up. My volume's up now as high as it can go on YouTube, basically. I'd have to turn it up in my system as well. I'll speak like this. Let's see here. Can you do Bloomington, Indiana for tomorrow, please? Sure. Let's take a look. Bloomington, Indiana. Yeah, you guys are in a pretty good spot for severe weather tomorrow. Let's say that. Is my H trip? How loaded is my 00ZH-RRR? Ooh, it's looking pretty good. Pretty spicy. Can we make it out there? Nice, we can. This is the latest. This is a 00Z, so this should be a fresh data set. We've got weather balloon data now. Yeah, this would be around, you guys are still Eastern. This would be around 8 p.m. in the afternoon when your most significant weather could be pushing in. Don't take this at the exact timing. Storms will speed up and slow down. But Indianapolis, Bloomington, Owensboro, Hopkinsville, down there, Jackson, Tennessee, this is when things get dicey for you. And this isn't a great looking QLCS. There's a little bit of a discrete type of setup to this. So you could have some interesting, it's not impossible to get some supercells out ahead of this here. Really, really dangerous looking setup here. And this includes all the way up there into Michigan. So if we back this up a little bit tomorrow up there in Michigan, Grand Rapids, we'll see if this stuff initiates to your south. Right now it looks like it wants to. But Lansing at around 7, 8 p.m. Eastern, and then Detroit again at around 9, 10 p.m. Eastern. This is messing with a lot of people. Texarkana, we'll have to watch that. That could be earlier in the morning tomorrow. But Texarkana looks actually like it's in a little bit of a better situation, because look what happens. We could get those stronger storms initiating down there to the southeast of Texarkana. That would be nice. Spare Yali. Western part of Middle Tennessee. Oops, one second, guys. I gotta go back up. Western part of Middle, oh yeah, I think you said it's in a level 4. It is. It's in a moderate. It's in a moderate. And that is worse than what you were on Sunday. Yes, it's in a moderate hatched. That's a dangerous place to be for SigTor potential. So Raleigh won't see anything until Thursday. Yeah, Raleigh's looking pretty good. A lot of these storms, like I said, we do have a high pressure sitting down here that's going to keep you know, these high pressures act like a force field kind of, and you're going to have these, you know, clockwise rotating winds that are going to be kind of, you know, in a high pressure, you have air pushing down at the surface. That's why you don't get a lot of thunderstorms, because you need moisture to rise and condense to form thunderstorms. So a lot of the worst weather is going to be sitting up here north, maybe even up, like, you know, right up in here. So right now it looks like most of North Carolina is going to be good. I'm a little bit concerned about the mountains. We could get some flooding and severe weather out here through Appalachia down into the Smokies as well. Storm should be in Tennessee around 6:30, 7:30, and it's gonna get wild. Yeah, so yeah, entering, and this is the 00Z, so this is kind of the latest updated time. We could see cells, you know, as early as 6 p.m. This is the latest HRRR. We'll have to see. The MPAS has been doing a good job with timing and stuff. I'll have to see what that says. But 8 p.m., really, timing on Nashville might not even be until midnight. But getting into Jackson and Clarksville a little bit earlier than that, 9:10 p.m. Potentially. Well, I would say Central Time, that would be 9 p.m. I was talking in Eastern Time there for a second. Oh, YouTube is quieter. TikTok. That's interesting. There must be like a compressor on it or something. Let's see here. I'm in Northwest Arkansas. Do you think there will be a bad tornado, or am I safe to go to school? Northwestern Arkansas is in a much safer position than Northeastern Arkansas by far. But here's 7 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Central. Up until about 10 a.m., we have a little bit of a threat up there in Northwestern. I was talking about this earlier. So we'll have to watch that 6 to about 10, maybe even, I'd say 6 to 10 p.m. Central right now, Northwestern Arkansas. You clear that and you're looking probably pretty good for the day. There is a little bit of a threat. I wouldn't say there's a major SIG-TOR threat. Not that you couldn't get a significant tornado tomorrow morning in Northwestern Arkansas, but your odds are pretty low of that. If you saw one, it would probably be a little bit weaker. I think a bigger issue would be some of the winds and hail that could be associated with this early in the morning up there in Northwestern Arkansas. But Northeastern Arkansas is a lot more to worry about than Northwestern Arkansas right now. Snow totals for Wisconsin tonight. Let's check out the latest HRRR snowfall totals. Our 00Z. What are we projecting? Not much. Not much. I mean, we're only seeing 2 to 3 up here to the north. Far northwestern, you could get up there near 6 to 8 inches. Chicago Heights tomorrow. Again, it still to me looks like hail and significant winds are the biggest issue for Chicago. There's going to be a lot of moisture moving over in the beginning of the night or the beginning of the day, which is going to help what it seems like right now is downtrend your severe threat or your significant tornado threat, which is why tomorrow they don't have you in your hatched, that 10% hatched. So here, if we go through like this, let's go back here. I've talked about Chicago a little bit tonight. Let's switch back. There's a lot of moisture moving through potentially tonight, and then look at that into tomorrow. This isn't the severe stuff. This is the potential severe stuff. So this right here, I mean, you could get some severe thunderstorms here, but where it really looks to get severe is with this band back here. This is our severe. Oops, stop it. This is our severe. It's not letting me click off. This is actually crazy. Severe. There we go. Rain. Pretty much normal rain with some wind, maybe small hail. So, you guys could get soaked earlier in the morning. And then as this band approaches you, you know, does it initiate far enough north? You know, we were watching earlier, there wasn't a bunch of surface cape up here to the north. That could change. There is a decent SIG-TOR param up there. I'd say strong winds and hail are more likely. Right now, and this is the latest from the HRRR, I actually want to look at this on Pivotal Weather as well. It still does have this band back here, which is kind of a dangerous looking band. And that would be around, that'd be around 6 p.m. Central. Let me pull into Pivotal Weather real quick off screen and just take a look at the 24Z, or at the 24Z. 24Z doesn't exist, guys. I don't think I've ever said that. Let me take a look at the 00Z and see what's happening on that. It's really downtrended, Chicago tornado threat. It's really downtrended, Chicago tornado threat, which is a good thing. Like, I'm looking at it right now. It's really downtrended it. So, I don't think you're going to go into that 10% hatched. You have like a ton of SIGTOR potential moving in, but you're going to have, there's going to be a lot of inhibition up there to the north. I think that's the main issue. If I can pull that up here, I'm going to show you on the screen. Let's see. I want to see why. Okay, here we go. Let's see here. Still doesn't look bad. I mean, you know, the SIGTOR parameters still don't look bad, but it keeps it south. I guess we'll have to see. We're not seeing much on the reflectivity of the HRRR, but we are seeing still some decent SIGTOR params up there. And the surface cape actually looks better. So, but reflectivity-wise, it's quite a downtrend for tornado chances. Southwest Indiana, SIGTOR. Yeah, but you can take a look right here. This, say no more. There's going to be a SIGTOR potential in southwestern Indiana. You guys are in that 30% hatch risk. This is our tornado risk right here. So, yeah, southwestern Indiana, as we get to 9, 8, 9. Really, well, we'll see. But 7, 8, 9 Eastern time, we need to watch out there. Pushing over into Ohio, northwestern Ohio around 9 p.m., getting close to Columbus at around 11 into midnight, and then early into the morning, you can see Cincinnati. We're talking around midnight, 1 a.m. Eastern. You are right now still in that 10% hatch, so that means a significant tornado would be considered possible. EF2 plus. I believe you're also in that hatched hail and wind outlook. So Cincinnati's another spot to watch. It looks like our bigger threat is to the southwest of Cincinnati, but you guys are in a more than decent enough severe threat to have a reason to want to have weather alerts on your phone that can wake you up at night if you're sleeping in Cincinnati if you're going to be sleeping at 12, 1, 2 a.m. This is Radar Omega, what I'm using. You're watching me on both. I appreciate that. Jasper, Indiana. God, what an underperformance tonight. I might give Matt a call. No, yeah, I mean, that is Southwestern. Yeah, I guess I just went over that. Is there a time frame for Southeast Missouri yet? Yeah, sure. Let me give you that. Because it's hard to tell on this radar. I usually do pivotal weather where you can tell where the severe is, but a lot of this stuff out ahead is not the severe. So this is the severe. So southeastern Missouri, we're talking potentially as early as 3 Central. But if we're really talking this pocket down here, right down here, 4 Central, 5 Central, or 4 Central, 5, 6, 7. You could have something on that backside too. So I would say between 4 and 10 p.m. But it really looks to me like it's going to be a 5 to 7 p.m. threat tomorrow. Again, these storms aren't going to move. Sometimes you'll see them speed up, slow down a little bit. So, but let's zoom in here again. That's going to be your bad kind of boundary here. So again, that's looking like 4 Central, 5 Central, 6 Central, 7 Central. So 4 to 7. What did we get out here? Another one out here in Nebraska, moving up towards St. Paul. $0.5 size hail. We're getting more severe thunderstorm warnings than we're getting down here. Look at this. Wow, this is looking like a flop down here, guys. It's a good thing. It's a little boring, but it's a good thing overall. Oh my gosh. This right here shows you why not to stare at SIG Torp-Rams, by the way, everyone. This right here shows you why not to stare at SIG Torp-Rams. And just to show you what I'm talking about, let's take a look at what our 18Z SIG Torp-Rams were for down here. You guys ready for this? Here's what our SIG Torp-Rams were for today. Okay? We're getting close to maxed out. Let me see if I can. I saw a 10.0 SIG Torp-Ram. There it is. 9.5, 9.7, 10.0. There it is. 10.4. It doesn't really get much higher. So, you know, and we've seen nothing. Nothing. Here we go. Four 4.0, 5.2, 6.0. This is better timing for what we're experiencing right now. Nothing. Now, this 2-3 a.m., we're not expecting to see anything moving through this region as of now, I believe. Let's go look at our HRRR. Let me look at this one more time. Let's get back into here. 1 second, guys. There we go. Actually, we do have one decent looking system or thunderstorm that may want to move through around Oklahoma City. Let me see if I'm mistaken. Let me pull this up here. Composite. So this is closer to 5 central. So let me go back into my SIG Torp-Ram. Here we go. There's actually an empty pocket here, and I'm not sure why. So we'll see. We'll see. You know, there hasn't been much talk about this early hour storm. Maybe it produces something. Okay. Joliet, Illinois. Yeah, we've been talking about that. You know, you might have the worst storms initiate to the south here. You have decent SIG Torp-Rams up here near Chicago. We've talked about Chicago a lot. I would consider this metro, the whole area. The farther south you go, I think the more significant severe weather you're going to get. Still possible to get severe, you know, significant wind and hail up here. We'll have to see. We'll have to see if the instability is here, though. If you get a ton of rainfall throughout the day, you're not going to have instability up there for strong tornadoes. It's conditional, I think, up here around Chicago, and that's why you really need to pay attention tomorrow. Because conditional means we could have a big overperformance or a big underperformance. Notice what they did. Did they just move this hatch up to the north as I was talking? Am I crazy, guys, or did they just move this up to the north? They did, right? Yeah, they did, right? Okay. I'm like, I'm not going crazy. Did we get an update for tomorrow? Hold up. Hold up, guys. I'm looking about the same. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're in hatched wind and hail up there in Chicago. You're just not in the most severe tornado threat right now. Can you give us a time for Middle Tennessee storm expectancy? Yes, I can. Yes, I can, and yes, I will. Jenny, I appreciate it. Billy, I appreciate it. Yali, what's going on? I appreciate it. Beck, I appreciate it. Slap, laddie. Nobody, sorry, guys. I wasn't paying any attention. I'm the worst. Just joining timing for Memphis area. I'll get that as well. Let's push out here and take a look. Take a little look-see. Am I on my 000? I am. Yeah, Memphis. You could see initiation, I mean, as early as 5 p.m. Central. 6, 7. Right now it's looking like the worst is going to be somewhere around 7 and we'll say right now 7 and 9 p.m. Central. That could change, but right now it's looking like as the sun is getting ready to go down or right after it goes down, we'll be watching you. Middle Tennessee a little bit later, around 2 p.m. Eastern. I think Middle Tennessee is Eastern, right? And there's a pretty significant threat out here for wind, hail, and SIGTORs. So just showing that 10% hatch out there in Middle Tennessee. I love it when it underperforms. Yeah, this was a good thing. There were some really, really scary long track SIGTOR potential on the HRRR and MPass earlier in the day and yesterday. There were models taking like SIGTORs directly through Oklahoma City. So this has been a good thing. It was, I mean, Reed Timmer posted something earlier that I reposted, not to scare people, just so that they understood what the potential was for tonight, because if it had happened, it would have been very bad. But like, this is what we were seeing maybe 5-6 hours ago on the HRRR. I don't know if you guys can see this. That's like a SIGTOR directly through Metro Oklahoma City. These are never perfect, but Reed posted that, and I was like, that is the potential, but the cap held over it. Very good. Which storms are you talking about? The SIGTOR were off the charts on. We were seeing potential for tonight. And right now, down here in Oklahoma, right here, we were seeing insane SIGTOR numbers, and nothing happened. Or nothing really. We had some severe weather. We had baseball-sized hail up here to the north near Ponca City. But overall, it was actually farther out west, I think, near just to the north. It was up. Yeah, it was up here. We're seeing baseball-sized hail. Near a need as well. Enid. Not a need. Enid? I don't know, guys. A little bit of initiations happening down here to the west of Dallas-Fort Worth. That's interesting. This is expanding slightly as well. But we're not seeing much. Enid. That's right. I knew that. I was Enid. Enid. Will we get snow in Labrador City, Canada from these storms? Where is Labrador City? Labrador City. That's a new name. I probably just spelled that wrong. Ay. Where'd it go? Where did it go? Labrador. Oh my gosh, guys, I cannot spell to save my life. Labrador City. It still can't find it. Radar Omega cannot find Labrador City, Canada. Wait. It cannot find Labrador City, Canada. Oh. Well, it's finding up in Newfoundland. Oh, yeah. That's right. That's right. Wait, are we talking Canada or Newfoundland? Listen. Here is... One second, guys. Here's our snowfall. Expected snowfall. This is from the GFS. I like the Euro way more, but we're on Radar Omega right now. This looks the state of the north of the Twin Cities here. Some decent snow through central Ontario and Quebec. And then a pretty decent pocket of it up near Labrador. Maybe 3 to 6. Ooh, right out to the east, a new severe thunderstorm warning. Moving to the south of El Dorado. I'm sick of it. Confused spots on for me. Oh, really? That's you? Which storms were you talking about? The Sig Tour, rough stretch. Yeah, underperforming like crazy. Sorry. That's why I like Nam and Nam Conus. Yeah, Nam Conus better. I agree. So I like our 3 kilometer Nam a lot. I don't like our medium range Nam. It's terrible. I really don't. I like our short range Nam a lot though. You're gonna need a map. Yeah, I know, Yali. Beckless, I appreciate you. Not MIX, I appreciate you. Gayla, Jenny, Billy, Yali, Slap. I appreciate you guys. Can I look at Cleveland? Yeah, I mean, we can. I can show you what we're looking at for you guys tomorrow. You guys are in that slight risk tomorrow. You're not in the most sketchy area. You're at 10%. 10% tornado. You are actually kind of still in that. This is our wind. This is our wind. I was like, this is not our tornado. You are in that 10% hatch wind, meaning you could see those 80+ mile per hour wind gusts. Cleveland is in that 15% for hail as well, which isn't bad for tomorrow. Timing wise for Cleveland, let's go over that real quick. I love that we have our 00Z HRRR in right now. Timing wise for Cleveland, I think I went over this earlier, but for the severe stuff, because you'll have weather before this, does look to be around midnight. Right around midnight. Look at that. Moving in. This is a very nice looking storm up and down the coast. So this stuff is firing up, if at all, later tonight, early tomorrow morning. We'll see something probably early tomorrow morning. Yeah. But the bigger potential was tonight. The stronger potential we were watching was tonight. 70 mile per hour winds. Ping pong ball size hail. Kansas is really starting to see a lot of thunderstorms, and I think we could get a Sig Tour out of one of these guys. I really do. Especially this one here. We have tennis ball size hail, 70 mile per hour winds, damage threat considerable, moving up towards Clay Center, just out to the west of Junction City, and just out to the west, or out to the west of Manhattan, Kansas as well, to the north of Salina. So let me go down to single site radar for this. Oh, this is going to get warned, I think, guys. That wants to become a couplet right there. It does. We're probably going to see hail on this. Look at this hail. Look at this hail right here. Look at that hail right there, guys. That's hail. That's hail. Hopefully not. It could be gusty winds at the surface too. Look at that thing. No, that's hail. That's big hail. This thing looks like it's wanting to curve into a freaking hook echo. We need to keep our eye on this one. I would say if you're up there in Longford, Manchester, Kansas, up towards Oak Hill, Kansas, Clay Center, Kansas, I'd say really keep your eye on this. This thing might be our first tornado of the night. A Tor War of the night. I'm predicting it will be. Tor War. Yeah, they're firing up there, guys. Kansas City, Missouri update. Well, we have a lot of severe thunderstorms firing up again out to your west. Keep an eye on this through the night. Based on our latest model. And again, I don't have the short range. I don't believe I have the short range NAM on here, or else I'd be using it more. Oh, I do have the NAM 3K on here. Am I crazy? I haven't used it in a while. I'm always looking at it on Pivotal Weather. Look at this band that wants to form. Okay, our 00Z of the NAM 3K is loading right now. That's good. We'll use that in a second. Let me look down here. 1 second, guys. Let me look for something. All right, we'll use the HRRR for now. This this QLCS line could be forcing its way through or moving overhead at around 6 p.m. Central. 6 a.m. Central, I'm sorry. Tomorrow morning. It's not impossible to get some of these cells that are forming right now up and through Kansas City tonight, though. So I wouldn't rule out one of these systems, one of these cells that are spawning out here, even this one right here, potentially moving towards Kansas City. Guys, I told you. There it is. There's our tornado warning. There it is. Let's take a look. There it is. There's the couplet. Do all tornadoes form hooks or notches? Most of them have notches. Not all of them have hooks. Hooks are typically your Sigtor's EF2 Plus when you have strong updraft or strong inflow and a good RFD. But your quasi-linear QLCS tornadoes a lot of times just have little notches in them. Okay. I think this tornado's on the ground about to move through Bennington, Kansas, up towards Longford, Kansas, Oak Hill, Clay Center. This is serious. I think this one has the potential to be very, very strong. It's good velocities right now. I think what we were looking at may not have just been hail. I think we may already have a debris signature, but there's tennis ball size hail in there, so it might just be hail. This looks like, and it's hard to tell because the radar will do this weird thing with the blue and the red, but this looks like something else down here. Let me go to my reflectivity. I think this thing is expanding down here to the south as well. Yeah, there's hail. There's hail down here as well. That's what it is. There's a good inflow with this thing right here, guys. Good inflow. Here's our rear flank and downdraft. This thing has a lot of clean air out ahead of it. This one up here is looking very interesting as well. Look at this. This is probably going to be our next warn. This is probably going to be our next warn storm. Things are starting to kick off in Kansas, guys. You can see rotation on the reflectivity right there. Beginning right here. That's the rotation. It's to the southern part of the tornado warning. There's another tornado warning right down there to the southwest. Let's take a look at this one. This one's only radar indicated. It does have a nice notch in it right here as well, though. So let's take a quick look. Sorry, guys. I got to assess this. Okay. Good velocities there. There's your tornado potential, or a funnel cloud, but okay. Let's look at CC droplet there. Nothing, not much. Okay, here we go. And I think this is going to go warned up here as well. We might have 3 tornado warnings out of the blue. Not really out of the blue. They were developing, but. And cap. Look at this beautiful cap down here for you guys in Oklahoma. Fantastic. Let's watch this one. This one out here, guys, is headed straight for out towards Langley, Marquette, Brookville, Canopolis, Canario, Frederick, Geneseo, I don't know, Lorain, Chase, Raymond. So, Ottawa, Kansas, Rice, Kansas, Ellsworth, Kansas, Barton, Kansas, and everywhere in between. Probably want to get into a safe spot with these storms. And we do have 2.5-inch size hail with this one. Not associated with the tornado and the severe around it. What did we get? We got something new up here. Okay, this doesn't look too... Okay, this does look interesting right now. We'll have to watch that as well. Still not a Tor warn on this, but let's take a look at it. This thing's... There's a lot of shear in and around Jamestown up there. And this looks like good hail to me. There's hail, lightning, good shear. This thing wants to spin up, heading right towards Belleville, Kansas. It really wants to spin up. Worried about that one as well. Tennis ball hail here. Still. Ooh, look what's happening on the correlation coefficient here. That looked a little bit tighter. 1 second, guys. I'll get back to chat. Give me a second. All right, let's keep our eye on this. That chaser took the wrong way. I know. These guys came down to the south, and they're like, what the heck? They definitely took the wrong way. No one's up here right now. Here's the thing. If there was gonna... The strongest tornadoes had the potential to form down here if the cap broke. We knew that there was a better potential for tornadoes in Kansas. Less potential for tornadoes down to the south, but if they formed, they would be bigger in Oklahoma. That's where they formed. Topeka, Kansas. There is tonight. Pay attention. There is tonight, yes. With the way these things are moving. There is. Stay weather alert. Nice velocities in here. This isn't the most beautiful tornado I've ever seen, but it's in there. Look at this. This is massive hail, guys. Massive hail. Massive. Big. Huge. Let's take a look. Let's see if we can get a better look at this thing. Alright, we'll keep an eye on it. Surprised that one to the north hasn't gone Tor warned yet. What's going on in North Texas? Anything? Not right now. We did have some thunderstorms that spawned up and they dissipated out to the west of Fort Worth. Tomorrow morning, things are looking a little bit more sketchy, and we'll talk about that in a second, around Dallas-Fort Worth area, northern Texas, or at least this area, not up here, but just to show you. If we go to my 00Z, we're talking around 6 central, 7 central, some decent storms moving through the Dallas-Fort Worth area, heading out towards Texarkana there as well. Yeah, they really took the wrong route down there. Radar indicated. Still radar indicated. This really looks like it has a lot of potential here, but it's not. Let's see if we can get an update on the velocity. Pretty strong velocities here. Not seeing a tight circulation unless this is it trying to reform right here. Not seeing the tightest circulation. Still just radar. Not seeing the best rotation there on the reflectivity as well. Sometimes I turn. Do you guys ever turn your head sideways when you're looking at a radar? Like, okay. We're looking good. Salina, Kansas. I feel like I was just... Why was I just looking at Salina, Kansas? Oh, yeah. I was talking about Salina, Kansas because this cell that's Tor warned is heading up in that direction. So stay up to date on this. It's headed in your direction, so let's hope this thing fizzles out. But I'd be paying attention. There's a lot of severe weather right now out to your west, especially down to your southwest. Tulsa. I need to get another drink of water, guys. My throat's hurting. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yeah, there's just... We're not seeing it down there anymore. Tulsa, Oklahoma is a tomorrow morning threat now. At least as it looks right now, we could still see something late in the night. I don't want my O1Z. But you can see when we could get some bad storms moving into Tulsa. 5 a.m. Central. Potentially this line as well. 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. Central. We'll have to watch Tulsa for some large hail damaging winds and possible SIGTOR. We'll see. Which is unfortunate because we hate that, obviously, that like late at night or early in the morning. 51 roses, I appreciate you. Natalia, I appreciate you. Alyssa, thank you. East Kansas. Yeah, I mean, this stuff is going to be moving. This stuff is moving your direction. You know, what's interesting is this thing gonna fall off? What's interesting is a lot of these, you can see our slight hatch isn't making it all the way out to Kansas City. Our instability is going to drop off a little bit as this discrete setup heads off to the east. So what it kind of looks like, but we'll have to see. Like, we can't rule out a late night, super early 1, 2, 3 a.m. in the morning type of system like this going through Kansas City. But it looks like this is going to be your main event at around 5 and 6 Central Time with this QLCS kind of squall line moving over you guys. I won't be streaming terribly longer tonight. Unfortunately, I have to get up at like 5:30 in the morning. I got to go into the office tomorrow, so not doing this full time yet. Hopefully sooner than later, but still got to get work done. So unfortunately, I won't be able to be on as late as I would like to be on. You know, once I'm doing this full time, I'll be able to stay up very late. I will tell you. Meso Matt, MESO, MATT. He knows what he's talking about. He'll probably be up through this entire event. MESO, MATT. I'm part of his weather team, so he's a good person to go to. He knows what he's talking about. Troy, Illinois. Yeah, I will regret it if I stay up too late tonight. I got some big stuff going on tomorrow. You guys are down by St. Louis. Interesting area to be. Again, we're going to see a lull in storms, and then we're going to see them potentially reinitiate out to your east and southeast. We could see something very similar to what happened on Sunday out here near St. Louis, where our storms kind of fizzle out and then re-intensify on the other side, because you guys were definitely an underperformer on Sunday. So let's check this out on the latest 00Z HRRR. Notice, as this severe line of storms approaches St. Louis, HRRR wants it to kind of fizzle out and then potentially re-intensify right before moving through. So that would be a concern. That would be 3 p.m. Central. So it's going to be close because, does this initialize here or does it initialize here? That would completely change what happens out here. Belleville, St. Louis, this region. But I would say right now, the latest HRRR does have these storms initiating right before they move through, which would mean 3 to 5 p.m. Central. We're going to need to be paying attention out there and have weather alerts on because some decent severe weather will be possible with that setup. Give me 2 seconds, guys. One second, guys. Un momento. All right. Sorry, guys. Omaha, Nebraska. Yeah, you're in this 2% tonight. You're not in a crazy tornado risk tonight. With the latest look, let's go back here and take a look. If you're obviously looking much better tomorrow. This is actually our latest. So, I mean, your severe threat. This is going to be the end of your severe threat after this line of storms moves through around 10 p.m. Central. So, yeah, if you don't get any severe weather over the next couple hours, you're looking pretty good. You're going to have some back end moisture moving through Omaha here. This does not look to be severe. This looks to be like heavy rainfall, maybe some gusty conditions, but your severe threat is gonna tail down here in a couple hours. As soon as this is kind of oops. Oh my God, I hate when this does this and I can't get out of it. There we go. Here's our low pressure up here. Come on, Radar Mega. Oh my God, it's bugging. Hold up, guys. There we go. Here's our low pressure up here, spinning. Here's this tail, and our kind of LLJs pumping through here. So as soon as this passes over Omaha, your severe chances drop off a cliff. Same thing's happening down here in Kansas. As soon as this stuff moves through, most of that severe threat is gone. Any back-end moisture will likely not be severe. So not looking too bad in Omaha right now, but we are watching some severe thunderstorm warnings, obviously out to your west and southwest, so we need to keep an eye on those for a couple more hours. Wichita, Kansas, you know, we'll have to see. It looks like, you know, we'll see if we get anything else initiated out to your southwest. We do have potentially some storms wanting to initiate out here. I don't want to say the worst of it's past you yet, because I do still think we could get some storms. We could see some more thunderstorms develop out to your south and west, but it's looking pretty good right now, because what we were looking at yesterday, especially last night and early this morning, was we would have already seen some very strong potential SIGTORs moving through central Kansas. So let's take another look at this. This is still just radar indicated. Let's go back into here. Let's see what this thing is doing. This looks like a much better couplet here. This is moving out to the east, just south of Manchester, Kansas, towards Buckeye, and out towards Wakefield. Out towards Wakefield, Kansas. Fort Riley. This is looking pretty decent now, guys. That might, you know, we could have a debris field there as well. This thing does look like it's intensifying. You can see what looks to be a pretty good notch forming in here as well. So we have to keep an eye on that. Let's go back down here to this one. Still just radar indicated. It's got that shape that concerns us, though. Let's take a look at our velocities. This thing as well is trying to form a much better looking couplet down here. Velocity. Let's go into our... Oops, I don't want to be there. Let's see if we got anything on the CC. Not much. So this one's heading out here. I would get in a safe spot if you're in Geneseo maybe. Frederick, Kansas, out towards Langley as well. And I'd be in a safe spot if I was out in Wakefield, potentially, with this thing moving out there. Manchester, Buckeye, Kansas as well. Appreciate the follow, Lynette. Anyone else has too? Kalyana, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Sorry, guys. I was looking away from chat for a second. Here, let me take a look at this first for day 2. I can take a look. I can take a look at that. Give me a second. Let me see what's going on with our tour. Oops, 1 second. I also want to take a look at CSU real quick. I want to see if we have any decent CSU updates. Let me look. CSU risk. Oops, actually I have that saved. Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. Let me make sure I have these up here. But I'm looking at something on the back end. 1 second. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I have too many bookmarks. Here we go, CSU. Let's see here. Day 2 risk. Still looking northern Tennessee, western Tennessee, northern Mississippi. Okay, this is something. Wait, this is something I want to show you guys for tomorrow. What did we get here? No, severe thunderstorm warning up there to the north. Okay. Let me show you this real quick, guys. So this is the latest update from CSU. Hatched. We are up here, up at a 30% hatched from the CSU. So this is a pretty this is a pretty decent tornado threat from Western Tennessee, southwestern Kentucky, potentially southern Illinois, southeastern Missouri, eastern Arkansas, obviously northwestern Mississippi, and then northern Louisiana. This has moved. You can see that we actually have no hatched up here, tornado-wise, which is good, from the CSU anymore. They have also, let me take a look here. Let's take a look at some of this. Our wind outlook is about the same. Our wind outlook is about the same tomorrow. Large hatched area where we could see 80+ mile per hour gusts, damaging winds. That's remained about the same. And then we can take a look at our latest hail outlook. I trust the CSU a lot. We still have that up in 15% hatched all the way up into Chicago and then all the way back down into northern central Texas. But you can see this massive 30% hatched hail region. This is literally where you can get gorilla hail. So that's pretty significant as well. Yeah, let me put this back real quick. 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Let's see here. All right, let's see here. Here we go. Yeah. Well, let me look at our day 2. Mesonet has basically Mesonet has the SPC, so we just looked at that. Yeah. It doesn't look like they moved that tornado threat east, though. Or that categorical east, Kellyanna. More tornado watch for central Oklahoma. Let me pull this up 1 second. I guess I'd better get some. Set the alarm for 2:30 a.m. in case of storms. Have a good night, and I hope you all stay safe. I agree. Tomorrow and for the rest of this craziness, I agree. Kellyanna, I appreciate you. I appreciate you being in here. Stop by anytime. Anytime. Stay safe tonight. Harper County, Kansas. We can look at that. Tatum, I appreciate it. Ronnie, I appreciate it. Sandy. Amy. So that was, let's see, where is it? Sorry, guys. What did I say? Harper County, Kansas? Is that what I said, guys? Here's what's, well, actually, before I get into that, let's get a quick updated look on these storms up in Kansas. Okay, yeah, I got you. This, it's kind of hard to tell because you have crazy velocities to the south here, but it looks like this is probably our tornado right there. You can see right up there to the north, although we have rotation to the southeast and to the north, it looks like as well. Correlation coefficient, kind of, this is a little bit sloppy, but it still looks like we could have something put together heading out towards Wakefield and Fort Riley, Kansas. So get in a safe spot if you're out there. This as well, has a little bit better of a structure to me. This one actually has a little bit better of a structure now to me, heading out towards Langley and Marquette, Fallon, Brookville. This is interesting what's going on out ahead of it as well. Kansas and correlation coefficient. Yeah, I'd watch both of these. Doesn't look like either of those are SIGTORs, but we could have a tornado on the ground with both of those. How does Grand Rapids, Michigan look for tomorrow? It's interesting because we were looking at this and, oh yeah, I wanted to do Harbor County. I didn't find it when I type this in for Kansas. And I feel like I'm typing in the wrong thing. Anyways, for Kansas, we got a lot of stuff going on. Right now, I don't know if we're going to get more storms initiating down here. The cap's held down in Oklahoma. So, you know, this region is our biggest concern right now. A lot of these want to fall apart before they get to Kansas City, and then it does look like early in the morning. We have potentially, like I said, 5, 6 a.m. Central Time. We have a QLCS kind of linear setting up where we could get some strong winds, big hail, and potentially... It's not impossible to get a SIG-TOR out of that, but it looks like we'd probably be more of a QLCS setup, meaning weaker tornadoes through Kansas City. Through the Kansas City region would be possible, but, you know, nothing's guaranteed. Yeah, up towards Grand Rapids tomorrow. Let me pull back up for you the latest or at least the 00ZH triple R. It's doing interesting things up there. This is not severe weather. This is rainfall. This is annoying rainfall. This looks to be our severe setup. And you can see a lot of this wants to initiate to the south. Some of this could be severe, though. So when would it possibly get severe? Potentially as early. Really potentially as early, I would say, as 7 p.m. Eastern. 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern. And then all the way through, I would say, 10. So... I would say watch 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. It's going to be interesting, you know, how these... HRRR can't make its mind with what's going on up here, but it does agree with this linear setup to the south. But again, we do have Grand Rapids at 5% tornado risk, and we do, I believe, you are in that barely in that hatched 30% wind risk as well, which is meaning you could have destructive winds up there around that time. Tandem CJ Sandy, I appreciate you guys. I live in a mobile home and I'm curious if I have to find somewhere to go. Yeah, you living in a mobile home is a little bit concerning because of this wind aspect here. You are in that 10% hatched for wind, but look, it's a 30% hatched right to your south. You know, this means 80 plus mile per hour gusts are possible. Not guaranteed though. So this isn't, yeah, it's not the best to be in this high of a risk wind zone. In a mobile home, so that's a tough, you know, it's a tough call because although you're not in a major tornado zone, although you're still in a 5%, tornadoes are possible. They're likely to be pretty weak even if one does form up here, but you know, you still got to watch out for that. It's going to be questionable with how these storms move through. The wind threat is pretty significant up there. No problem, Travis. Hoping we just get, it's going to be more of an isolated event, though. There's going to be some storms that may move to the south and north of you, and you may get lucky and end up with nothing. So it's like we're going to have to see, especially tomorrow morning, how the new short-range models look, because that'll tell us a lot about your area. Cincinnati, Ohio storms. Yeah, those look to be moving through right now in the latest HRRR at around midnight. Things could really go downhill at around midnight for you guys tomorrow. God, look at that thing spinning up to the north. Crazy. Crazy spin up to the north. Okay, more severe thunderstorm warnings up there. Let's take a quick update on our tornado warnings. Okay, still not the craziest looking tornado signature, but we could still have something on the ground there. I'm glad it's not looking insane though. CC droplet not showing much. Still headed out towards Wakefield, Milford, Fort Riley, Kansas. Let's take a look at this one again as well. Again, this one's looking a little bit more well put together, heading out towards Geneseo. Kansas. Not the most impressive thing I've ever seen, but I think this one may actually be on the ground as well. Man, these storm chasers are disappointed. I know that. Woodland, Michigan tomorrow. Can I get a time frame? Sure. You are in that 30% hatched for severe winds. You're going to be pretty similar to Grand Rapids. See, a lot of this is going to put, all this moisture is going to stabilize it's going to really, you're going to lose a lot of instability from that, I think. But you could see severe weather moving in as early as 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern as well. You're very similar time to Grand Rapids. And you could see that, I would say 6 to 10 p.m. 7 to 8 look to be the most exact, but these storms will slow down and speed up sometimes. So you don't want to give just like an exact hour. It's never going to work perfectly like that. Clarksville, Tennessee. Yeah, you guys are going to be, I think you guys are in that moderate or in that 30% tour hatch zone. Let's take a look. Yeah, Clarksville not looking the best, unfortunately. Not the greatest place to be in the States tomorrow, but you should be fine. Just stay up to date with weather alerts. Again, when these severe systems move through, you can be in the most severe area, and you're still unlikely to see a significant tornado. Most people will never see a tornado in their life, so no need to freak out. But yeah, you're in a pretty high risk zone right now. With the latest HRRR, you could see things moving in as early as, I was going to say spinning up. I don't want to say that. Moving in as early as 8 to 9 p.m. And then, we could see some, but here's the issue. Okay. And here's the issue with the Clarksville area up through Kentucky. Watch as this moves through. Now, most other areas, this is going to move through a band and then it's going to be out. Watch what happens in areas like Clarksville. And this is why we're worried about significant flash flooding in certain areas like this. Okay. Here is around, ready? Here is around 9 p.m. moving into Clarksville. 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. To the end, it doesn't go away. You could have 48 hours, honestly, of thunderstorms or more. Watch this thing tilt as it goes over Kentucky, Tennessee, eastern Arkansas, tilt, and then continuously flow. Watch the rain. Continuously flow, continuously flow, continuously flow. This is what I was talking about earlier. High pressure to the south, funneling moisture through here. Low pressures to the north, funneling moisture. And then we're going to get a pocket of rain and thunderstorms stuck in here. And that's why we have a Clarksville, Tennessee under a slight or higher risk for the next 5 days straight. Really crazy setup for you guys through this region. Dixie Alley up through the Ohio Valley and Midwest. The cap held in Oklahoma. It did. The cap held. Yep. For the most part. We saw some baseball size hail up here, and then we saw ping pong down here for a second, but that was it. Nothing. It's very, very good outcome. This is going to expire, I think. But let's take another quick. I do have to get off because I have to wake up super early in the morning, guys. This is underperforming a little bit up here as well. This couple is still bothering me. Heading out towards Langley, out towards Salina. Still heading out towards Salina. It's very far away, but if this thing gets itself together, this could be a long track. This could be a long track. So I would say keep updated on your news up there in Salina, because this has the potential to be a long track tornado, and those can go very far. So let's keep updated on that. This one has basically fallen apart up here, which is good. We could see it try to reorganize out to the east, out towards Wakefield, though, Fort Riley, Kansas. Other than that, not much going on. Some severe thunderstorms to the north. Okay, so they actually did just extend this, and again, and I think they're like I just said, this thing could reform. I think there's still some potential in here. That's why they still have it as radar indicated and extended it. Heading out towards really Milford, Wakefield, and Fort Riley, Kansas. Currently, I'm more worried about this one. This one moved through Geneseo, Kansas. And head it in the general direction of Salina, Kansas. Guys, I know there's a lot of questions still. I got to get to bed or else I'm going to regret it in the morning. I'm going to post updates on this tomorrow, and I will be back on live streaming tomorrow to cover as this is probably, I'm going to try to be on as this is moving through this area, which is going to be the most significant, talking about potentially Chicago to Detroit, down through portions of Ohio, like this region here, I want to be able to cover because this is when, stuff could get pretty sketchy. I appreciate anyone who's followed, gifted, just being in chat, guys. Again, trying to get to the point where I can do this full time. You guys make it possible by even being in here, helping the algorithm. I seriously appreciate all you, and I always hate that I can't answer everyone's questions, but I will. My video that I posted today answers a lot of questions, and my video that I'll post tomorrow, I give the latest updates I post every single day, and I stream every single night. So I typically never miss a day. So there will be another video tomorrow, and I will be posting updates during the day on my Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, which is all Connor's Climate Corner, and then I will be going live again. Everyone have a great night, and I seriously appreciate all you guys, and I am so sorry. I see a million people who I wasn't able to answer, and I'm sorry. Tomorrow I'll probably do a speed round so I can answer a lot more. I'm sorry, guys. Everyone have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow. See you. Thanks, guys. All the regulars, you know who you are. I appreciate you.